Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. No matter where you're watching us from around the globe, I say thank you for allowing us into your homes, but most importantly, into your hearts. If you're watching us on the DBNA television network, a sincere thank you for your support and continue to support this network that just turned 1 years old and continue to support the amazing talent. If you're listening to us in podcast form today, Showtime and myself tell you to turn that knob up. Let us put that flavor in your ear. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's another edition of the Coach Scott Field Show. And let me just get this out the way. The algorithms on Facebook love when you share the content, comment, send emoji reactions, send comments and questions. We'll respond to you as soon as possible. Also, subscribe to the Coach Scott Field Show page on YouTube. And let's have a little fun and welcome in our guest. This is Paul Showtime Gaffney, number 32, baby. Big Gaffney, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. Coach, how you been?
You know what? Got to be honest with you. It sounds like I'm talking in a bucket because I got quite a sinus infection going right now, but it's hashtag
Oh,
warrior, baby. You got to bring the juice.
that's that old school warrior in you, the old school. That's what we
Hey,
do.
hey, that's how you and I grew up, right?
Right.
Oh, I
Put some
love it.
ice on it and keep going.
Hey, that's right. Throw a little dirt on it, sip a little Robitussin, and go out the door. uh,
Completely.
hey, this is going to be a lot of fun. You think of the Harlem Globetrotters, and you got to be a part of that world famous franchise for over 12 years. And just, I can't imagine the stories that you have when you think of the iconic names that were Globetrotters. I mean, you think of Curly Neal, you think of Geese Osby, you think of Goose Tatum, you think of Marcus Haynes, you think of Meadowlark Lemon, and how about Sweet Lou Dunbar, who coached you for a while?
Oh yeah, matter of fact, I played with Sweet Lou his last few years. So my position was the master showman, the clown prince of the Harlem Globetrotters. And you named a lot that I had to follow behind, like Goose Tatum, Meadowlark Lemon, Geese Osby, Showbiz Jackson, Sweet Lou Dunbar. I mean, we're talking about legends there. And, they came, I seen them probably 2 nights ago. They came through here and Sweet Lou was coaching. He's been with the organization for 40 years. And
Wow.
yeah, looking good, still being Sweet Lou. And, we talked to the guys and my thing is that was taught to me. Actually, Geese Osby one told me, he said, you play every game like it's your last, and you play every game like it's the crowd's first. And you never could get burnt out. You never could be tired. So, with that mindset, and you work on your craft. I mean, when I was coming through there in 92, I played 15 years. And, you know, being in that position, I was one of the youngest to be able to be in that position, meaning within my first year. Um, and, for me, it was all the legacy about the team that made me want to work on my craft day in and day out because I had some big shoes to fill. And, you get that kind of opportunity. I mean, traveling around 93 countries, kings and queens and President Mandela, Oprah, list goes on. I mean, I don't think it's not a show during those times that I haven't been on or in the paper, and some of the biggest stars and people around it was there. So it was amazing. It was truly a blessing. When they say a blessing, that is truly a blessing. That was favor all the way through that.
Man, I get excited just hearing you recount and recall some of those awesome memories you have. I mean, coming from Tennessee Wesleyan, being a part of the Harlem Globetrotters for all those years. How did the name Showtime come about? Because you think about it, the Harlem Globetrotters have some of the best nicknames in the business. I mean, you Sweet Lou and Metal. I mean, the names just keep coming, and you go to the website and you see the names. How did the nickname Showtime stick for you?
Well, growing up in the coal mines of Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky, I was I always been and still is today a super Magic Johnson fan. I was Magic Johnson was my guy. I mean, he's the first time I ever watched a full game on TV was him and Bird in the NCAA championship. I was about 13 years old, and from that moment, the joy that he brought to the game and the charisma and the things that he did, that was, they used to call me Magic 2, Baby Magic, but that, growing up, but they had to stop that. And so they started calling me Showtime. So when I got to the Globetrotters, I kind of already had that name. I was a big guard. I'm, 6'6", but I wasn't 6'9" like Magic, but I was a big guard. And so it kind of stuck and then didn't go anywhere. So, thanks for all the people that's from, Lynch, Benham, Cumberland, Harlan County, Kentucky, all the coal mining people out there. So that's where it came from.
Man, I love it. And you wore it so well. You had that colorful personality. You truly entertained the crowds. And is there one time that just really sticks out to you, whether it was performing for the military, or maybe you were in just a smaller town somewhere around the globe? Because I mean, you think about it, over 90 countries that you performed in. Is there one time that you saw someone and it just stuck out to you and you're like, I'm bringing the juice tonight. We're really going to be Showtime, and kind of share that story with us.
Well, and they can tell you, and I'm not just saying this because of I'm here, but every night, if it was 50 in the crowd or 50,000, the guys that I was around, and we came out every night, and nobody got shortchanged during the time that we were there. I know for sure. But it's all kind of memories. We could say the military. We could say playing in LA and all the stars come out. You could say so many different avenues, but two sticks out the most for me. Is one is playing in front of my grandmother for the first time when I was a rookie,
Oh,
playing
wow.
in Dayton, Ohio. She was in the wheelchair still, but she came out. She was standing up there with her daughter, and they came to the game. After the game, I messed with her during the whole time, and she signed more autographs than I did after the game. So that was very special for me. But I think that's came very, very close was President Mandela, beating President Mandela. We was the first team to play in the free and democratic South Africa. And the first time we got there, we got to meet him, talk to him. And I knew his family. I came a little earlier, and I got to meet his family before I met him. And we were in the parliament. We were in parliament down in Cape Town. No, I'm done. In Durban. No, I'm sorry. In Johannesburg. We were in Johannesburg, and we was at the parliament there. And he just came out. I mean, we were looking west. He came from the east. But when he came in, it was like royalty came in. You
Wow.
knew the awe about, like, who just walked in this room, and you look around and he's there. Really, we had a great time. We traveled through all of South Africa. Sprite, it was a big Sprite tour, Sprite cans. I mean, it was great. We gave away a lot of balls, gave away a lot of different things there. And it was, and we went to Soweto, places that we complain about being poor or being and not well developed areas. And Soweto had some places that just make you cry. Just saying, wow, this is crazy but you wouldn't know that because the joy and the happiness they just have as just human beings, just loving life and just loving. We came through there. We just had a great time. We played soccer in the streets, all that kind of stuff. I played cricket in South Africa for the first time. But I think the second year, we came right back the next year. I think it really changed my perspective on not only the outreach, the power that you have and the platform that you have. We came in, President Mandela came and was shaking everybody's hand. Thank you for coming back. Thank you. It's great. We had so much great time last year. Oh, thank you for coming back. Then he got to me and he said, Showtime. Hey, he said, Showtime, I'm glad you're back. I'm glad you're back. Happy to see you. And I
Wow,
went, I had an out of the body experience at that moment. I say, this is President Mandela. This is this is
man.
this is one person in the world that everybody knows. It's not just a South African person. This is everybody in the world knows this person here. And he had just the love just to say my name. And I'm like, my God. And he was like, Showtime, Showtime. I said, oh, I just like snapped back. I said, man. But what it done for me was, I know when I meet someone, and now I might not be as good with names. And now I'm still working on that. But I know faces and I know what we've done. I can tell you everything that we've done. I can tell you where we've been, what you said, because I know how it touched me for someone like that to affect me. And for my
Wow.
short stay, how can I affect others?
Man, you hear that, and we've been blessed to have traveled the globe and do what we do and be ambassadors for the game. But you think of what Nelson Mandela meant to that country, and with apartheid just ending, and the global effect of what he did there for that country, and for him to be able to recognize you, know your name, call your name out, that had to be just a euphoric moment. But it also tells us the respite that you're able to provide for entertainment to get that country's mind off of the stressors and struggles and just entertain them through the game of basketball. How powerful.
It was. I mean, they had big screen TVs outside of the arenas where we played that were, well, I mean, it's jam packed inside. We talking about 20,000 people inside. And then they had like 20, 30 outside watching it on the big screen. I mean,
Man,
it was amazing to see. But again, just the power of how you affect someone. You can affect them in a good way or a bad way. And they remember the good ways a lot better than the bad, even though the bad, the ones that you hear the most. But from that standpoint, again, in my life, I mean, be hanging with Oprah and getting to know, seeing Oprah and hanging with her and Gail and you know Jay Leno and Sinbad and the list can go on and
wow.
on. And but that moment there, and when you said what stands out the most, I mean, we could talk about things that happened within the game. That a man came up to me one time, had two kids with him, and he was just crying. I was like, it's like, dude, what's up? What's going on? And he said, my wife and I got a divorce, and we've been, back and forth for a few years. And this is the first time I see my kids have laughing and having a great time
Oh,
with
that's
me.
powerful.
And
That's
I was
so
like,
powerful.
and he's like, I thank you for it, and in the team, what y'all done. I mean, it's stories of people getting engaged. I'm nervous. I was nervous for a couple of them, but they get engaged at the game. It's been couples that came back with their 60th anniversary, 50th anniversary, 30th anniversary, saying, "Look, I got engaged here at a Globetrotter game back in the day, and I'm still, and we want to spend this anniversary here with the Globetrotters, and y'all made it as special or more special than it was the first time." And I mean,
Oh,
you hear stories like that, and then you say, okay, this is why I get up in the morning. This is why I I, I give it up my all every time you get up and
yeah.
get on the team, get on the in the game, and be able to perform. And even if it was playing the national teams and Olympic teams or college All-American teams, it didn't matter. It was still, hey, we got to do what we got to do. We got to play great basketball. That's one thing I can't say that Manny Jackson, the owner, came in when I was there and he sold it like right before we retired, probably 3 years before. But he kept the legacy. He kept the legacy of the great athletes that could entertain, and they're doing a great job now. They're doing a lot of marketing. You see them all over the place, and they taking social media and different things and doing such a great job. And they got new president came in. They got new ownerships and stuff, but they're still doing great things out there. And if you got a chance to go out and see them, go out there and see them, have a good laugh. Just that's one. You have a great laugh, and those are times that those 2 hours you can forget. You can forget that I got bills to pay. I got things happening. I've been through a divorce. You just forget things. You just laughter. Great basketball, great entertainment changes a whole lot of things. The sports that's why sports is so special.
That's right. I agree, Showtime. And again, as you're telling stories, I just think of the names and the empowerment and the entertainment that you guys provided. I mean, you think of Lynette Woodard, the first
Oh,
female to play with the Globetrotters. What comes to mind when I drop that name?
oh, beautiful one, and a strong athlete. Oh my God, she's a baller. She's a true baller. You can look at it and be like, oh, she's so pretty. And she will cut your throat.
She can play.
She's just one of those kind of players. I mean, and then smile at you afterwards, like,
Yeah.
okay, here, take this Band-Aid. Let me show you up. But right when we on the court, it's no playtime. So,
Oh, I
Lynette is a
love it.
great friend. Lynette, I love her. She's doing a great job coaching. So yeah, no, yeah. When you think of Lynette, she's a legend. Not
Right.
only in Wichita, she's a legend up in Kansas. She's just a legend everywhere she went. She won and she dominated everywhere she went.
I like it. And again, you think history, Abe Saperstein starting and founding, the Globetrotters back in 1926 that started the first game in Illinois and then again traveled the globe. But when I say a few names,
Uh,
just give me a quick recall. When I drop a name, give me the first word that comes to mind. Let's
okay.
go. Let's go, Curly Neal.
It's no. You say Curly Neal, you don't have one word for Curly Neal. I mean, I'd say Curly Neal is one of those guys that you have some struggles during your rookie year. He came up to me, he said, "Young fella, you got it." And he said, "Whatever you need from me, you let me know, but you got it, and don't let nobody
Oh
take it."
wow, that's
And
awesome.
coming from and he was always the same until the day he passed. He looked the same. He was just when you talking about a beautiful person,
Yeah.
not just a legend. I mean, he's probably no, it ain't no probably. He is the most recognized Globetrotter ever.
Wow. Wow. I
Uh,
love hearing that. I mean, hey, we follically challenge brothers. We got to stick together. My man had that thing on a string, boy.
oh, he had on the string, and you couldn't. He was a good looking guy. He was ball. He made ball head cool when the ball heads
Yeah,
wasn't cool then.
that's right.
So
I
hey,
like it.
he was just that guy. He's special.
Yeah.
He was
How
special.
how about talk about Meadowlark Lemon and his impact as a showman?
Malcolm Lemon he was true. He was true to the game. He was true to his craft. Um, he was very timely. He was a very timely showman. Looking back on stuff, he was very timely in that regard. Very charismatic. He he captured the media. He was that guy. He was hungry. He was hungry. He's
Yeah.
from a small town, North Carolina. He's hungry. He wanted to be the best. One of the best. And when they talk about the Globetrotters, and he came in he came in a time when it was 3 channels. Uh, and when the Globetrotters came, he showed out. Him and Curly them showed out.
Yeah, and I always think about that half court hook shot he always made.
Oh yeah.
He's for real, man. How about, you mentioned Manny Jackson.
Yeah.
Talk about the impact Manny Jackson has had on your life and the things that you continue to do today.
Well, Manny Jackson is a mentor to me. You know, I you know, you could say that he was an owner and he was he was very driven of what he seen, his vision. He was very driven. And but I don't know, we had a great relationship that I could sit down and talk to him, and I talked to him about business. And he just, like, you can hit some people like a peach in Georgia. When it's full, you hit that one spot and it just keeps spurting. You talk about business, you talk about things of that nature with him, he's going to sit down, he's going to talk to you. And, I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from Manny. Matter of fact, we're still friends today. We still talk every once in a while. I mean, he's busy, with the Hall of Fame, and he got a award through the Hall of Fame that they honor people with. So he's definitely one of those people that I look up to in the business world to say, and just think about it. He was one of the first to own, a sports and entertainment company of that magnitude. I mean, he bought it for a small price, because during the time when he bought the team, when he led a group of investors and bought the team, the company that owned it had some other entertainment companies around it, like Ice Capade and some amusement parks and things of that nature, that they were losing money. But they were all different companies, but they were all under one umbrella. So when they went bankrupt, they had to separate the companies. And he got in, bought the team back. He used to play with the Globetrotters in the 50s. He bought the team back, but he probably, when he sold it to probably 100 times more than he bought it for.
Right.
I
Wow.
mean,
Is there one lesson about business that he taught you?
Again, you're talking about someone that I sit down and talk to a lot. I think one thing is just have your vision, focus on it, and go. No, I'm gonna tell you one thing he told me that always sticks with me, and this is a business thing that sticks with me. And he was saying, when you're on top, Paul, when you're the top person, he said, it's like looking through a picket fence. A picket fence is like this. Yep. He said, you got people on the lower side that can look through the fence and can see a little bit through the yard and say, I think we need to do this. And then you have the next level of people, maybe in management, that could just look over the fence and see a few things and say, well, I think we need to do this and do that. Then you got yourself that's sitting on top of the fence and looking at the whole yard. They don't see the hole right there. They don't see the dog chain right there. They don't see those things, and they can tell you, oh, we need to go here, but you see the vision, how to get to the other side. He said, that's how you got to look at business. In that way, if you're going to run the company, if you're going to be ahead of it, you got to be a visionary to see how to get to the other side where you're going. And don't worry about the people below or around. They will come once you get to the other side, they say, oh, I'm glad you said, because I didn't see that. So I can say, well, that's one of the biggest things when he told me. It seems simple, yeah. But when you look at it, I was like, wow, you're right. And it's funny, where every time I see a fence like that, I look at it and say, wow.
Manny's preaching at you.
Yeah, right.
Oh, man, great story right there. There are just so many iconic names. I mean, because you guys are world famous. I mean, Globetrotters, what a brand. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain, a part of the team. I mean,
let me tell you something about Wilt Chamberlain.
Drop it. Let's hear it.
He's the first person. I thought I was going to get more nervous around Magic. But Wilt Chamberlain made me so nervous. Like, I was starstruck to I was nervous.
Yeah.
And we were in LA. We were at a restaurant, and I came in. He was there. He said, hey, young fella, come here. Man, you're doing a great job out of the Globetrotters, man. You're doing it. And he shook my hand. And his hand, like, wrapped my hand, my wrist, my forearm. And I got so nervous. I was like, yes, sir. And I hit the glass and spilled spilled something. I tried to get up. He said, "Hey, young fella, you okay? You okay, man?" He said, "Man, I had the best time of my life as a Globetrotter, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Just keep doing what you're
Wow.
doing." And a few years later, after that, he passed. But I was like, my God, that's what I was like. This is Wilt Chamberlain. You know, forget everybody else. This is Wilt Chamberlain. This is this
Wow.
is this is Wilt. You know, he changed your whole voice. You know, you don't have no more bass in your voice. You get the high tone. You just your heart pumping. You don't know what to do. And I was like, man, I just spilled the man's water and everything. He was just calm with it. Like he was just so cool. Like, hey man, young fella, don't worry about it. It's okay. You're doing a great job. Just
I
keep doing what
love it.
you're doing. Enjoy every moment of it, man. That was the best time of my life. I was like, okay, I've been stupid enough. Let me go on over here and sit down for a minute.
Well, and Showtime, you have been blessed to have met some wonderful dignitaries, like you said, Oprah, who's just a brand in herself. But was there anybody that you met off camera that had a comment for you, or just a suggestion for you, or something that you took away from them that was so unexpected, and you're like, wow, that really impacted me?
Oh man, there's so many. Because most of the people that I'm talking about, even like President Mandela and them, were off camera kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And it was always, I can really say the guys, I was a rookie. I can say, this guy's named Sterling Forbes, Curly Boo Johnson, um, Matt Showbiz Jackson, a couple of them. I had to go to the team, and I was kind of down during that time, first part of the year, and they were saying stuff, and they really like, man, people lied to us, man. You got it. And when you hear that from your peers, that you know, and I think I said Curly Boo, yes, but they and Billy Ray Hobley, Super Trotter. I mean, those kind of people, when they say something like that, that really helped. And it's a guy in Oakland named Abe. Abe, we call him Abe. He was out in the road below, way back in back in the day. And he said, and he told me he used to take us to this fish market, get fresh fish and eat out there. And Abe set me down, man. He gave me some wisdom on things, and he said, "Son, you out here on the road, and I watched you, and I'll try to see if you had this is my rookie year." He said, "Man, you just keep doing what you're doing. You watch what I tell you. That you got the ingredients of the greats that have been out here."
Wow.
And I said, I was I was like, okay, but I knew that I had to work, because if you talk about the greats, you talk about Geese Osby, that coached me. You had Sweet Lou Dunbar that coached me. You had Tex Harrison. You
Ted.
had
Wow.
you had these guys, and then you had the older guys, Curly Neal, Meadowlark Lemon, them that come back. And those are super legends, in the game, and when Geese, like I said about Geese earlier, Geese the one told me, hey, you play every game like it's your first in every game. Well, like it's your last in every game, like it's their first. And things like that are things that you carry on even in business, even in, as your life grows, things that you learned out there. And Billy Ray Hobley, one funny thing, and I say about Billy Ray Hobley, he was his name was Super Trotter. We called Billy Ray Hobley Super Trotter. And rest his soul, man, he was special. But he I don't know. Look, can I tell it? Yeah, I can tell this story.
Yeah,
Yeah,
please, please.
nah, yeah. Some stories you gotta leave on the bus. You leave on the plane. Some stories you gotta leave out there.
Yeah.
But he told me, he said, young fella, I do it to the day. Young fella, come. But he said, let me tell you some things that you got to do while you're out here on this road. He said, you got to take care of your feet and your stomach, and keep your eyes on your luggage.
Oh.
Billy Ray, what you talking about? And you look at it, if your feet hurt, you can't play.
That's
You're
right.
not going to do it. If you haven't eaten right, you can't play. You can't do anything. And if you on especially during that time, if you're traveling and you don't take care of your luggage, you don't have any clothes. So I was like, I said, okay, Billy Ray, and then that always stuck with me. And one time I give this story about Billy Ray. Billy Ray had a whole lot of stuff, but he came into breakfast. Where were we? We were in Canada. He came into breakfast with his coat on backwards. I was like, Billy Ray, what's wrong, man? Because it's something funny about to happen. He's about to say something. He said, man, I heard about y'all trotters. You got to watch your back around y'all. I said, man, you crazy, man. You crazy. Looking forward to the story, but when he said that, that's just Billy Ray. And you got guys out there
that's classic.
that might not be are great in what they do, but you talking about funny. I mean, every morning you get on the bus, you have your breakfast talk, and you go to sleep. Yeah. And you get to the next city, you're getting up and you find out what's going on. Next morning, you're doing the same thing. But the travel, but these guys, and I said, I tell them all the time, and we still talk. A lot of guys said, well, during that 93 to 08 with me, that, these are like my brothers. These people I grew up with. I'm 20-something to 40-something, 40 years old there. These guys were, you see the kids growing, they grown now, they doing stuff, and you like, man, I remember when you was in diapers, hey, this Uncle Paul, and it's great to see that. You see them grow. Andre Branch, a good friend of mine, hot shot, could shoot the thing from half court. I mean, stroke it from went to Baylor. Just great guy. His daughter, I think, just turned 16, and I'm like, wow. And Sweet Lou's son is playing with the Trotters, and he a shooter. I remember him and my son them running around, terrorizing everything. So it's great to see. Sweet Lou's daughter, her birthday is the same birthday as mine. We had the same birthday. She's a lot younger, but the same birthday. It's just so much stuff that goes on. You see people get married and everything, and it's really a joy that we are still close.
Right.
Every time you see, you just even brothers have their little fights or little things that you go through, but the glue of the Globetrotters, of the team. A guy asked me last night at a game. He said, "Yeah, I know the Globetrotters in. Did it bring back some memories for you?" I said, "Yeah, it brought back a lot of memories. It always does." He said, "Do you miss going? You don't miss traveling?" I said, "Well, you know what? I think I missed that more than anything, because when we was traveling, I was traveling with them, with all these guys, and we had that camaraderie.
That's right.
That you just miss more than yes, you miss the crowd, yes, you miss playing some, but those guys even during the game, you could say something that is to one of the guys or to the team that something has happened, and it just make everybody laugh and it just boils over to the crowd. The crowd gets the extra. They get all of that because we just were so close.
Oh, that's awesome.
So great with each other.
Yeah, and I love hearing these stories. And I'm a true believer, to be great, you have to be a star in your role. Let's talk about some of the people behind the scenes that aren't the big names. I mean, even the referees during the game have a part of the entertainment. Even some of the players for the Washington Generals, who are good players and probably don't get enough recognition for what they do. But think of some of the referees that traveled with you and was a part of that show and a part of that entertainment, that, you guys had to have your skits and play that all out. Drop some of those names of some of those referees and those, multiple years.
For me, one of the biggest names of referees that came up with me was Barry Terry. He's in Houston, doing well right now. and Reggie Harrison. Reggie Harrison actually is still out there. He's doing something else right now, but he went back out. I mean, you got these guys that we got a couple guys that still are out there that were referees and stuff that, but then the reason why I said Barry Terry is because we kind of came in a little bit together, and he was, even on my retirement video celebration, that he was on that. I mean, we were just that close.
Wow.
And I mean, I didn't want to go without him and another referee that were out there, because Barry Terry, you have a connection. I can do stuff that's just so totally crazy, and somehow he just read and just roll with it.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's awesome.
And that's what kind of team we had. We could just do something. I could just go do something, and they just roll, and they just come in and make it even more funnier. They made me laugh more than anything else, and I was just amazed. I mean,
you can feed off of each other that way, especially.
We did it all the time, because we had guys like Michael Wilson, Wild Thing from Memphis, that is still he's in the Guinness Book of World Records for dunking a ball 12 feet 2. I think it's 12 feet 2 or 12 foot 4. You talking about that's on top of the square.
Right.
When he dunked the ball was like on top of the backboard. He had to get it over the rim to get it. And but he did things in the game sometimes that you will go, you want to call timeout, you want to just sit there. And I said, if the fans don't love that, what just happened? Something wrong. Because he amazed me a lot of time. Him, you had Herb Lane, there's so many guys I can name that were just out there doing spectacular. You had, Chris Bruton. It's just so many guys that were just doing so many spectacular things that JB Brown from Chicago. I could just say Chris from. It's just so many. And they came out every night though. They came out, like I said, if it was 50 in the crowd to 500, to 50,000, it doesn't matter. These guys came out and did it every night.
I love hearing that. Love hearing that. Well, because
the Washington Generals, we didn't play those bums. We didn't have Washington Generals.
Well, when I think of the Globetrotters, 3 words come to my mind: athleticism, because it's unbelievable the things that you guys could do night in and night out. Then I think of the theater, the show, and then I also think of the comedy. And when you put those 3 things together, every night around the globe, you're bringing something special to carry on that brand and that quality entertainment. And, as you're telling those stories, you guys are human too. You've got the travel, you got the wear and tear, you got to make sacrifices away from family, and it's a grind. But man, when you get out there and can feed off of each other and just have fun, entertaining through the game of basketball, man, how could you not say you're not blessed?
Well, yes, and then you're bringing millions of smiles to people around the world. In all kind of languages, and that's one thing that laughter and joy, it doesn't have a language.
That's right.
And when you was talking about, we had a lot of times we played this team called the Nationals that traveled a lot with us, but they were. But a lot of times when we go overseas in different places, a lot of them got picked up because of what you said about just great athletes. We couldn't play. We couldn't really get into I couldn't even get into the crowd thing until we had a 10-point lead. And that's every night. And some nights you just couldn't get a 10-point lead to let alone. And people looking around like, hey, this is some great basketball, but what's going on? And that's why it was so great to see these entertainers. These athletes that can entertain. And guys left us and went to the league, and guys from the league came and played with us. So it was just a awesome time of life, and it was just awesome.
And of course the iconic song. Everybody knows "Sweet Georgia Brown." You know, I wish I could whistle it right now, but
But they
when you
can't
hear,
whistle anymore because they remixed it. They remixed it.
well, I mean, so when you hear that song, I mean, that is Globetrotters. I mean, it's
Yeah.
world renowned. And when you would hear that song, what did that do to you? Did that just get the adrenaline pumping? Like, okay, lights are on, shoes are squeaking, it's showtime.
Oh yeah, really it was. I mean, it'd been times that you be at home or something, you hit it, you're like, oh, I gotta go. I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
You hear that song, you jump up out of bed, pull
Yeah,
your
it's
socks
like,
up.
wait, what's going on? So yeah, you had those times, and it still brings energy, it still brings joy, it still brings excitement, still brings enthusiasm when you hear the song from our standpoint. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it's time to turn it on.
I love it. Well, here we are, Showtime Gaffney. You've been able to, give back to your community. I mean, you went to Texas Wesleyan, you've got roots set up. Talk a little bit about some things that you're doing currently that's going to help athletes in the future, because you and I have had these conversations, and I think it's phenomenal. I want people to know what Paul Showtime Gaffney is doing right now and some projects that you're working on.
Okay. I mean, well, right now I'm the founder and the school commissioner for the nation's first international teams college preparatory Christian academy for
Wow.
sports enthusiasts. That's mean people that have a love and desire to be in the sports world. We're serving ages 8 to 12. We focus on the careers in sports, like sports medicine, sports marketing, sports communication, sports nutrition. And teams is a new learning model. The acronym stands for technology, engineering, athletics, mathematics, and science, where we take the concepts of STEM and view them through the lenses of athletics. And so right now we're offering we're again a private school. We're offering 9 different sports: basketball, of course, girls and boys, volleyball, baseball, softball, track, soccer, esports, competitive cheer and dance, and then we're going to add a couple of other sports in the near future. But we in fact I'm in our academic sports center right now. They got some games going on outside. We're in the studio, in our studio, because we're going to produce straight talk with the commissioner, so we can explain a little bit more about that. Working on Showtime in the city. Well, we'll be introducing some of our coaches, and got some good prospects from some international players and also some national players.
Wow.
Our teams, all our teams are going to be in have a national level, a state level. I mean, they come here for they come here for the education and the sports. I mean, they'll probably practice twice a day in every sport. Um, it's no joke. I mean, you don't have to be an athlete if you want to be in the sports world, like sports medicine or sports communication and other things like that. We're just showing you a pathway, but you can still come and be here. But the athletics is, we're not a school with the athletic department. We're a school about athletics. So you're here, it's all about athletics. It's the world of athletics, not just the physical pieces, but the world of athletics. You could get taught in the classroom, and you'll learn it on campus.
Wow. And when I hear you say that, an academy that's faith based, and you're going to be providing tools to show them that there are other ways to make money in this sports entertainment industry. Like you said, they can get into broadcasting, they can get into sports medicine, they can get into broadcast. I mean, there's so many things that these young kids can do, and you're providing a vehicle for these students to come in and learn from some of the best around the globe. So kudos
Yep.
to you for this vision, and I love the direction that you're going, because I mean, you're going to have multiple courts, and I've seen some of the facilities. I mean, these are first rate facilities.
Yes, I mean we're growing, and we got some work to do, and still to get to the super level that we're going to get to. But we're happy. We got a great foundation, and people sometimes if sports is really your life, then you need to be here. You need to be at Gaffney, because you could say that, but are you willing to go get it? And we're going to go be getting it every day that you're here. We got certified, what we call certified coaches in the classroom and out of and on the field. And
Wow.
also they'll be eating, if they stay on campus, they'll eat three times a day. We got certified chefs, cooks coming, all that will be here. So no, we're not playing. We're not playing with this. This is actually a God vision that gave me at 99, December 99. We've been working on it ever since. I've been working on it and traveling, going every places. The teammates and stuff that were there, they tell you they could see me with a laptop, sleep in the back, just continue going. I didn't know what all entailed with the call, but I'm learning a lot more about it each and every day.
I love it, because when I hear you sharing these stories, you're on top of that fence with that vision, like you were
Yeah.
talking earlier. And I mean, you're talking about, strength and conditioning. They're going to have the facilities for that so that we can continue to grow and develop as athletes. I heard nutrition, because you're going to have a chef there for these kids. You're going to be working with them in the classroom. I just think it's a wonderful opportunity for anybody who sincerely wants to learn the tools for the toolbox so that they can be successful. And when, I like, man, Showtime, we got to get you on the show, and we got to bring awareness to what you're doing, and, let people know that, hey, you can sponsor this and you can be involved with it, and have ownership in this, to see this, growth and development of these young kids, to work with them at the grassroots level. It's phenomenal.
And it's some great schools out there. There's some great schools that are out there, and we don't take anything from them. But it's none out there that's a completely classroom and on the field about sports.
Yeah, it's going to be a well-rounded experience for these guys. Yeah, and you know
Because
what
it's all, one of the things, I'm sorry, but one of the things that is special about it, we learn about these things after, careers are, and you come from a low income areas, or even that, only thing you think about is sports and entertainment to get out. But with your talent really could be in, just say, broadcasting or medicine, sports medicine. You love sports medicine. That's where architecture, but your love is in sports. So how do you put your talents and your love together? And that's what we're trying to show you, that there's so much more out there in that realm. If you look at us right now, somebody producing it, somebody wrote it, somebody, put the cameras together, and they in the sports world. They might not be in front of the camera like you are or like I am, but it's been produced. They in the sports world. And I was watching a football game the other night, and somebody got hurt. And I see 4 guys just rush out there in their khakis and their little polo shirts, and they working on a person. And I'm like, wow, those 4 people are going to see probably another 20, 30 people in that same position for 30 years. They set because this is what they do when they're in the sports world. But the guy that's on the field, on the average, has 3 to 5 years at the most, on average. There's some Tom Brady's out there, and there's some other people, but on the average. And so your odds, and their knees are not hurting. They can still bend down.
It's a small window to earn that income for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, so
but they're getting that income for years.
That's right. That's right. And I love that you have that vision and you have that foresight to be able to, steel sharpens steel. And here you are giving back and saying, hey, young man, let me show you how you can do this or use this as a vessel to, provide an income and provide for your family and yet be involved in the community and give back to your community to make it stronger. And I think it's wonderful, Showtime. I admire it. And gosh, we could go on, but we got about 4 minutes left of the show. What?
Already?
Yeah, that's what, man. Hey, it's like Christmas. You get all excited for a month, and the next thing you know, man, the presents are open, and you're trying to throw away
Wow.
the wrapping paper. Hey, this has been wonderful. But tell us something about Showtime Gaffney that a lot of people don't know. Let's let the viewers connect with Showtime Gaffney right now.
Well, Showtime, before he started, I would say, he was birthed by a teenage mother. She had a child about a year before, and so she got pregnant again. Thought she ate too much at prom night, but it wasn't a watermelon. It was so back then it wasn't as acceptable, especially to just have a child a year before, a year and a half before. And her mother told her she had two options. She could either give the child up, she could either give the child up for adoption or have an abortion. But one of the two got to happen. So happens that always God has a ram in the bush. That there was an older couple that was there. They're probably excuse me, in their 60s, and was like a community kind of family. My mom and a dad she couldn't have kids, and so they worked it out before I was born. So at birth, I was adopted, and so that's where the Gaffney come from. And so from that standpoint, so now I'm about to turn it was January 18th, and my birthday is January 26th. Don't worry, y'all can still send presents. You can still send them. But and on the 18th, my mom, Mrs. Gaffney, had a stroke, and I was in the house with her. And so from basically age 2 to 25, it was just my dad and I. And so I was adopted, raised by a single parent in a rural area. All those things usually don't add up to traveling to 93 countries, hanging out with President Mandela, hanging out with you. Things of that nature doesn't happen. But but God, ain't nothing else. And and I don't want to preach, but he said he knows you before you were in your mother's womb. So he had the pathway already ready.
Wow.
He had stuff already ready. Just staying on path. Sometimes you slip off the path, or you go, but he push you back on and you keep going. So it's for somebody didn't know, that was my life. So I connect with these kids and people a lot more than what people think.
You bet.
So
Powerful.
Yeah.
Showtime, God bless you, my friend. You have a wonderful vision. I love how you're, empowering others, you're inspiring others. You've brought laughter and joy to so many people's lives, and you're still doing it, even though you're not where the popcorn's popping and the bright lights are showing on you and your tennis shoes are squeaking anymore. But by gosh, you are behind the scenes still being Showtime Gaffney, and I've got nothing but the utmost respect for you as a person, because hey, I know this, God ain't done with you yet, brother. You just keep on shining your light, brother.
Thank you. As a matter of fact, I just want to tell you that we got a studio here. I just want to tell you that. We got a studio. We can get you a studio, Doc.
Showtime. I love it, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Coach Scott Fields, host of the Coach Scott Fields Show, and we have been thoroughly entertained with my brother, Paul Showtime Gaffney. I thank you for your time. Thank you for your servant leadership. Thank you for allowing us to connect with you and get to know you better. Please like and share and comment on this content, and just know, hey, God has amazing things for each and every one of us. And who knows, we may be linking up sometime soon, Mr. Showtime, and doing great things and collaborating. But God bless you on your journey.
Yes,
And
sir.
let's chat real soon. And hey,
Yes.
continue to support the Coach Scott Field Show. And hey, look up Showtime Gaffney down there in Chattanooga, Tennessee, because hey, GAPA, baby, he's doing big things.
Doing big things, baby.
God bless. God bless, brother.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.